everyone, Trash Tilak. This is Tenzin and you are at Paper Town. So in this video, we are going to talk about this very good book called Buddha's Warrior by Michael Dunham. But before I proceed with this book, I just would like to wish all the Buddhists out there a very happy Lhabab Dujin. So Lhabab Dujin is very important from the Buddhist perspective. So and I hope that all of you will engage yourself in the different acts of marriage and will make this world a slightly better place to live in. Right? Okay, now coming back to the book, Buddha's Warrior. I recently, I think a week back, I got my hand on this one, courtesy of my good friend. And at first, I thought that this book is going to be quite dry, because as you can see, here is written the story of a CIA-backed Tibetan freedom fighters, right? And it says the Chinese invasion, and finally the ultimate fall of Tibet. So I thought that this book is going to have lots of information, lots of sacred documents, right? And because of which it is going to be a very dry read, informative but dry. So that was my preconception. But because I have less information about CIA-backed programs or Chushi Kanto in general, I kind of gravitated towards this book. And I'm so happy that I read it because I really like this book. Prior to this book, I have read other books on Tibet, because of which I have this sense of misgiving towards Tibetan aristocrat families, Indian government, British government, American government, Tibetan monastic bodies, and the Chinese government, of course, right? But I guess after reading this book, my sense of resentment towards the American government is diminished to a great extent. Because I now understand that there are people who are involved in this program who genuinely believed in the Tibet cause and who did their best to help the Tibetan people and help the Tibetan freedom fighters. So I think I owe it to them and I should be thankful for all their help. Alright. Also, the another great thing about this book is that it is very well researched. This book contains the history of Tibet from pre-occupation to post-occupation and everything in between. The good part of this book actually deals with how the CIA came in contact with the Tibetan freedom fighters and how and where they were trained. This book also has a first-hand account as to what were their perspective, what were their experiences during the training sessions, right? And it was fun to read because in one first-hand account, the CIA trainer says that more dangerous the task, the more enthusiastic and happy the Khampa seems to be, right? So it in a way is very true because being a Tibetan, we are aware of what kind of people the Khampas are, right? So apart from that, this book also deals with how Tibet came under the rules of a Chinese government. Chinese, with their superior military might, took control of all of the Tibet. It also contains information on the deceit by Ngabé, the 17-point agreement, and the repercussion of that agreement, and how that agreement led to lots of pressures on the mind and heart of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and the Kashak. It also talks about how the two governments tried to work together and how it led to the revolt and finally the escape of His Holiness to the India. This book also paints the picture of how so many Tibetan people they tried to escape to India following His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and what were the struggles and the hardship that they faced throughout the journey. For example, if I have to read one small extract here, it says, and then we headed down the slope. I mean, he's talking about when he had finally reached the border of India, right? Okay. And then we headed down the slope. Each step became easier. I remember how much every part of my body hurt, but it just didn't matter. Below us was Pemaku. We sang all the way down to the valley, right? So this shows how happy the people were to be escaping into the India, into exile, right? Yes, but escaping into exile is one thing, because there were whole set of new problems which were awaiting them, right? For example, if I have to read another stanza from here, small, it says, "Thousand and thousand died after they made it to India. The refugee camps were full of sick Tibetans and dying Tibetans. It was terrible, terrible. Even that was better, though, better than what I left behind. That's the terrible truth. So these small lines, it clearly shows us what kind of situations were in Tibet. Because in exile, even though they are facing lots of hardship, the person is saying that that is better because what is there in Tibet is far worse. As you go through this book, you will realize that how the greed of one person can lead to the downfall of so many hardworking, determined, and driven persons. Right? So yes, also at the end of this book also raises a very important questions as to what will happen to the Tibet in future. See, this whole area is actually a Tibet, but Chinese government has already taken much of our this one Amdo and the Khamba regions and included in their own province. So only the Tibet autonomous regions are shown or depicted as a proper Tibet, and that's not true. So the question arises: if we get the freedom tomorrow, will we get the freedom of only this region or the freedom of whole of the broad Tibet? Because most of our freedom fighters are from these regions which China says is theirs. So yes, finally I would like to say that this book is extremely good, and if as a Tibetan I really like it because there are so many first-hand experiences, and as I go through it I couldn't help but fall in love with this book. I would recommend the students of class 9 and above, all the college going students, and all the adults to kindly read this book to know about your culture and to know about Tibet, to know about the escape of His Holiness to Indian government, to India, right? So my final verdict is that it is a must-read book. So please go and give it a try. Thank you.